State lawmakers on both sides of the aisle introduced new legislation this past week about reproductive care. One Republican bill would give a clear legal definition of abortion. The lawmakers behind that bill say groups that support abortion have created doubt about what is and is not against the law with the current abortion ban. Their measure would differentiate between an abortion and a medical procedure designed to save the life of a mother. Those procedures would not be considered against the law with the current abortion ban as long as the intention was not to take the life of the child. And joining us here this week is Senator Romaine Quinn. First off, thanks for the time here today, Senator.
Happy to be here.
You introduced 4 different bills, all of which were related to abortion this week. One of them would clarify the definition of abortion. How exactly did you want to clarify this?
So we want to make it very clear that women who find themselves in a complicated pregnancy or that have medical complications outside of their pregnancy, but the fact that they're pregnant, can still get the care they need. I think there's a lot of fear mongering since Roe versus Wade fell, even over the course of the last November campaign, that we want to make it crystal clear that women who are pregnant can get the medical care they need. And in the event, the unintended consequences, the unintentional ending of their pregnancy due to that medical intervention is not considered an abortion. The pro-life groups have never considered that an abortion, and we want to make that crystal clear in state statute.
And this statute that you're pitching actually has specific medical conditions, correct, that would be considered not abortion?
So we wanted to make it clear that they can get the care they need, and we did outline specific instances such as ectopic pregnancies, right? We heard that a lot on the campaign trail and from others, that it's a pregnancy that can't go to full term, and that is not an abortion. And so again, we just want to make it crystal clear for both physicians and for families and women when they're making these decisions on what medical care they need for themselves.
So this bill would essentially create medical exceptions to the current abortion ban, not necessarily altering the abortion ban itself, but Democrats have refused to make any changes to that current law. They want a full repeal. So why do you think maybe this should have some bipartisan appeal, what you're proposing now?
Well, it's not an exception because we've always had life of the mother language in our state statutes. It's just unfortunate that some people view it as a little too ambiguous. So we wanted to take the ambiguity out of it. So I understand the position of the governor in the past, and maybe some of my legislative colleagues, has been to do nothing. They're hoping for a full repeal. But I don't think even the public is there. When I knocked on doors across during the campaign, even those who identified as pro-choice still believe we should have something on the books that defines when an abortion is allowed or not. And so I know this legislation can actually pass the legislature, unlike past items this previous spring. And so I think we should put it on the governor's desk and have this real conversation.
Another bill that you introduced this week would allow parents to claim an unborn child as a dependent on their taxes as soon as a heartbeat is detected. Would this bill, in your mind, be setting a legal precedent, though, for future abortion debates as to when life begins, when it should be protected?
Well, it doesn't apply to anything but the tax credit. So I know opponents of the bill, which it's been out for a day, and we already have opponents. I hope they actually read it. Again, all this is providing more resources for families who are expecting a child. We want to recognize that that child is being developed right now. He or she is on their way. And there's expenses that occur as soon as we know that a family finds out they're pregnant, not just after the child is born. So we just want to recognize that we want to support families, and we want to support them sooner and pre that child being born.
You mentioned there's already critics for some of these bills. So do you get the impression that your colleagues at the Capitol are interested in making any changes to abortion-related regulations at this time with the matter currently in the courts?
Well, I think on the Republican side, we are having these conversations. We've introduced legislation. The last package of bills I don't think could pass the legislature, but at least shows our side is willing to talk. It's unfortunate the other side wants nothing because they want a full repeal. And again, I would say, it's a shame that the party of safe, legal, and rare has now shifted to abortion for any time, any reason, at any point in pregnancy. And so I think most people are in the middle, and I think this provides clarity again to those people who have questions about what our statute actually means.
Senator Romaine Quinn, I want to thank you so much for the time here this week.
Thanks for having me.